Mutlaq Al-Qahtani is the special envoy on counterterrorism for Qatar's foreign minister. He spoke with our correspondent Jamal Al-Shayal and says everything is being done to fight terrorism.
Domestically, we have enacted the proper laws. We have our national committees on terror financing and countering terrorism. We also have our preventive action plan. But more importantly, we work very hard on tackling the root cause of terrorism, and we focus on two issues or three issues. One, preventive diplomacy, trying to solve conflicts among nations using our good offices, try to bring people and civilization and with different faith, mutual understanding, coexistence, and tolerance. While we also pay a lot more emphasis on unemployment, because we believe unemployment is one of the root causes of terrorism, or one of the root causes of violent extremism that could lead to terrorism. So we have focus on 16 countries in the Middle East. We provide job opportunities for around like 400,000 Arab youth, young men and women, and we are aiming to reach 2.7 by 2021. Also, we work very hard with other countries. We are having also programs in 42 countries on education, trying to provide education for children out of school. We targeted like around 5 million kids so far, and we are aiming to reach 7 million in the coming future.
So you're talking about trying to stem out terrorism at the source. But you mentioned, for example, that you are a strategic ally to the United States. We heard from President Donald Trump that he believes actually that maybe Qatar should be doing more. Some of the US media, as well as particularly the United Arab Emirates media, has been pointing fingers at Qatar, for example, for hosting an office belonging to the Taliban. How do you reconcile that with your claim that you are countering extremism?
Well, I don't want to comment on Mr. President's statement yesterday, but I can assure you the relationship between us and our counterparts in the Treasury and the State Department, and even the intelligence community between the two countries is quite enduring. The cooperation is quite remarkable, and the partnership between the two countries is quite outstanding. Qatar, when it comes to hosting like Taliban, for instance, this is basically we're doing a facilitating talk between the Americans and Taliban and the government of Afghanistan. And this is because this is our foreign policy. One of our main foreign policy agenda is to have an open door policy, to facilitate talk, to mediate, and to bring peace to international community.
So your hosting of the Taliban here was from your own accord or by the request of the Americans?
That's absolutely by a request by the United States government.
Another thing I want to ask you about is this list of blacklist, so to speak, of so-called terrorists that the Saudis and the Emiratis released on Friday evening. I believe roughly about 49 personalities and individuals, as well as some organizations. They say is proof that Qatar is either harboring these figures that they accuse of supporting or funding terrorism or even leading terrorism. Some of these organizations, including your main charities, Qatar Charity and others, and even some journalists and other figures. What's your response to that?
Well, our response is this list is misleading. It's not credible nor independent. This is exactly what the United States Nations said, the spokesperson, that this is not recognized by the United Nations. The United Nations only apply and stick and apply the list that's coming from the Security Council. As I said, this is misleading. Most of the names on the list are not in Doha. And some
they don't even live here?
They do not live in Doha, and they have never been to Doha, most of them. Well, there are some numbers, which is very limited. I would say like 5 individuals in the list, which they have been under in our watch list. We impose a travel ban on them. We freeze their assets. We even prosecuted them and sent them to trial.